Hi, everyone, and welcome back for another night of the Chem Valley Show here on our Chem Valley Wrestling Facebook page. Thanks a lot for joining us for episode number 11, lockdown day number 11. And I'm really looking forward to talking to my guest today. He's a good friend of mine. He works for the Sarnia Journal here in Sarnia, and he's helped me out a lot through my career, and I'm looking forward to talking all about his. So joining me now, Troy Shantz.
Hello, everybody.
Am I pronouncing that right?
Yeah, Shantz, exactly. You do hear Shantz a lot.
And yeah, I do. Yeah. Well, actually, I went to a lot of Sarnia Sting games as a kid, and they used to have a goalie, and he pronounced it the other way. So.
Yeah, it's usually in Michigan. Actually, there's a lot of Shantzes in Michigan, but I'm from Waterloo region, and we say it Shantz up that way.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. What was it like growing up in that area?
In Waterloo region? I grew up in Kitchener. Kitchener is basically it's like two cities on the north of the 401, and then Cambridge is on the south of the 401. So that's kind of all, kind of a cluster together. And I grew up in Kitchener. It was good. I guess it's a lot bigger than Sarnia. Is
that where you went to school?
I went to high school and college in Kitchener. Yeah, I went to Conestoga College for radio and television, and I graduated in 2005.
Nice. What did you want to do after high school, college? Did you have any idea of what field you wanted to go after? Like obviously radio and television.
So very early when I was in college, I started interning at a community television station, which is much like your TV here. I was on the Rogers one in Kitchener. So I started that very early on, and right out of college, I actually got hired to start producing TV series for them. So I produced 2 seasons of a gardening show. I produced 2 seasons of a fitness show, and I produced a kind of like a mini series season on this real estate show.
Wow.
So I did that out of college, and then I got into doing a lot of, marketing type videos. And now
was that all just using the tools you learned in school, or did you have a mentor there kind of watching over you for things, or was it just you?
Yeah, well, I had a really positive mentor in college, and when I worked at the TV station, and he really kind of guided me. But there, it was a different time, and we're talking 2006, 2007. And YouTube has not gained the traction that it has now. Facebook has not gained the traction that it has now. And people like me that were producing content, it was an uphill battle, because you had to convince people that this was the way that media was going. Because you would go in and you're pitching an idea for a video to a company, and they're thinking, well, we'll show this on a screen at a trade show. Mm-hmm. Or we'll show it to our employees on the screen at here. And I remember one time I was at a Chamber of Commerce event in Windsor, and I had a Palm Trio smartphone, one of the early smartphones, and I just was like, we will have video on here, and they were just like, nah, no way, what that's not going to happen. And this is only in like 2006, 2007, and I couldn't believe people couldn't see the writing on the wall. But anyway, but it is absolutely changed so much now. And for a time, I taught at Lambton College. I taught the video portion of the.
Oh, no way!
Yeah, I actually helped write that curriculum, the video curriculum, and I taught there for 2 years. And I remember telling students that this is the time to be alive for content creators, because everyone is making content. Mm-hmm. It's so relevant with the pandemic.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Right now, everybody, you're making content.
I was gonna say, well, look at this. This is just something. Well, actually, I had the opportunity for a school project about a month ago to interview Ariel Helwani, who's a journalist for ESPN, and he kind of told me his story and his journey of kind of how he got there, and he gave me the advice to start this podcast and go after it, because if you don't take that step and take the leap and get content out there for people to see, then you're never going to have an opportunity to get a job one day.
And just staying with it. Look at David Burrows. David Burrows is a titan. He's putting out content every single day.
Yeah, it's incredible to watch.
He's got quite a following, and it's just becoming the way that people are reaching out. to their audiences and to their customers and to their communities.
Mm-hmm. Do you think having that knowledge of like what the future was going to be really helped you at the start of your career, like with working with some of the bigger companies that you did? Like, what are some of the bigger companies that you worked along the way?
So early on, I did a lot of work for Maple Leaf Foods, and I did some work for. Now a lot of times I don't work directly with these companies. I'll work for like marketing companies that have been hired by these large companies, kind of thing. So through that, I've done stuff with working for a marketing company for Stella Artois and 3M and BlackBerry and
wow.
Yeah, so like just different bits of content, and then over the years, it became more and more busier and busier because people were starting to realize they needed to create this content because everybody was on smartphones, right?
Yeah. Did you know what you wanted to do, like coming right out of school? Did you know what your goal was? Like, did you think you were going to end up where you are now?
No, I had no idea where I was going to end up really. Initially I wanted to go to school for photography, but there wasn't a photography program at the college that I was going to go to in town. So I just ended up doing this, and just right off the get-go, I formed some really good connections with classmates. Some of them I'm still in touch with today, and they're doing outstanding work in their different cities where they are. And I just kind of fell into it. I did like the idea of producing those TV series, and when I was involved with when you worked for the college or went to college, you had to work for the radio station too. That was part of it. And I remember on I think it was, I'm not sure if it was 2002 or 2003. It must have been 2003. Whenever U.S. went into Iraq the second time, we were on the news shift that morning, and I just remember that rush of pulling clips, sound clips for CNN, and you're putting this out there. And we had, the radio station had a pretty good following in the city. And at that point, I knew that I would always be connected to news in some way.
Yeah, for sure.
Just that experience working through that. And then when I worked at that community TV station, they had a weekly news magazine show that I worked on and then eventually became associate producer on. And it was, again, zipping around the community, interviewing people, putting together story packages, and then editing it up for to air on Sunday evening.
That's awesome. And you mentioned all this great portfolio you built over time. Do you think that attributed to like getting a job here at the college and like helping them build their program and whatnot?
I guess so. I don't know. You stick around long enough, and
like how did that opportunity come about?
The college opportunity?
Yeah, in Sarnia.
Well, early on when I showed up in Sarnia, I guess this was kind of the beginning of my publishing portion of my career, meaning that I got into news media and stuff. I've always, like I said, I wanted to go to school for photography. But anyway, I've always been a photographer, and I've always loved news photography and photojournalism. Anyway, I would say this is probably 2008, 2009, when I was in Sarnia. I moved down here. My partner was from the area, and I came to town and I started working with a couple of guys on a magazine called Etc., which used to be kind of a culture business magazine at that time. And through that, I had to go take a photo for the magazine at Lambton College, and I really hit it off with their marketing department, which was just a fraction of the size as it is now.
Yeah.
And it really is. It comes down to any of these things are about relationships. And we got talking, and they found out I did video as well, and it led to a really awesome relationship with Lambton College over the years. And then they were musing about bringing in a photography program, and they had the person that was going to coordinate it, Richard Beland, who still runs the program today, does an outstanding job. He's an incredible music photographer, really world-renowned, likely. And
for someone out there like me, like I'm really interested in learning how to put together videos and whatnot in the future, and like kind of even like putting together my own intro for this show, and just kind of learning like how to edit and whatnot. Is that the kind of stuff I could learn in that program?
There's definitely a video portion to the program. I'm not sure what it is now. I stopped teaching there in 2015, but yes, absolutely. They get into the editing. You get that taste of editing. In terms of using motion graphics and animations, I don't know if they get much into that, but that is something you can learn on YouTube. So
yeah. That's what I was just going to ask. Is that another thing? Like, obviously, with right now, with the way things are going, is that something like you've gone after, maybe even just like teaching some people? Obviously, you probably don't have a lot of extra time on your hands with how busy you are, but
it is the future. I at different parts of my life, I've had Amazon Prime accounts, Crave accounts, Netflix, Disney Plus, and I don't have any of them now. And all the only content I consume is on YouTube, because of people like you and people like me that we understand that it's open and free for everybody, and you can create your own audience. You don't need a middleman. You don't need an expensive production. Look what you're doing. Yeah. I'm sure this is a pretty affordable production for
absolutely
tonight, which is good. And you're still getting your information out there. Yeah, absolutely. Just do YouTube, and you can learn anything from it, and you can produce content on it. For
sure. Well, let's talk about that a little bit, because I want to talk about like the local, just how the media is locally, and how that scene is.
The creatives, like video producers in town are just putting out mind-blowing stuff right now. There's Matthew from Paradox Images just released a video that he made with Rodney James Medwid.
Yeah,
it is mind-blowing.
Yeah, I seen that. Was that this morning?
I think it launched. It was either late yesterday, early today, or something like that.
I think I seen Rodney post that. That was incredible. Yeah.
And I would love to talk to those guys to see how that concept came up, because the visuals are so powerful with the message that they're saying with the smartphones and the media and everything like that. It's such a brilliant music video. Like I hope that gets some notoriety far and wide.
Oh, I'm sure it will. It's great to see a lot of people in Sarnia doing some really great things. Like
and the other guy, the Imperial Theater people. Ian Alexander, who's like a video titan. He's been around for ages producing videos in town, and he just made that film with Imperial that they released. So it's like, and I mean, during the pandemic, everyone has to keep producing content, especially cultural organizations. Like I'm doing a collaboration with the ISO right now, and you realize that is what you have to do now. People can't go to concerts, so what are you going to do?
Speaking of concerts, I had a picture of you from the concert that you got to work earlier on this year. What has it been like, kind of like reporting with the Journal or working through other media outlets throughout this whole pandemic? Because you actually had an opportunity that was pretty substantial opportunity for everything that was going on.
It's been a really weird and bizarre and stressful and boring and monotonous time reporting on this. Tara, I have to give Tara Jeffrey credit. He is absolutely on top of the numbers, on the hour, on the minute. She's got the updates, outbreaks happening. So she's absolutely crushing it. You can tell she's an experienced journalist every day. And some of my story and coverage has been, it's been challenging. And you're nervous about COVID. You're nervous about your family and COVID. I have a 91-year-old Grammy, and we couldn't see her at Christmas because everyone's worried about COVID. And now I'm out writing about COVID. I can't ignore it, unfortunately. Right?
Yeah.
I can't push it away from my mind when I'm. I have to watch it all the time. So, but early on in the pandemic, Blue Water Health reached out to the Journal and invited me to come in and see the COVID unit firsthand. And I produced a story. I shot stills and wrote a story about it. I think it was on our website. I want to say it was in May. Maybe it was in May. But anyway, we did that. And then shot video clips for CBC in Windsor. So, it was a really wild experience and daunting, and I didn't know if it was wise to go into it. But you have I have to. This is my job for everybody else to see the firsthand view. I'm the person that has to go in and show them that, right? So.
Mm-hmm. And what was it like in there? Like, just obviously, like, what you were in there in a really critical time. Like, what was it? What was the experience like?
It was nobody was running around. Nobody was acting nervous or upset. The nurses,
right.
were just, they had it on lockdown. It was nerve-wracking for me because I'm not familiar with the medical field. And all I know about COVID is all these numbers and facts and everything, and overrun hospitals in China, overrun hospitals in Italy. So I'm approaching it at a way different perspective than the nurses and the professionals in there that are dealing with it every day. And there was no sense of chaos or fear or anything like that. It was just like another day at the office for them.
Mm. That's awesome, and you told the story great. It was awesome to see. Like, I
should shoot you the link. You can share it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll share it in the comments after, and you can check that out because I know it was I remember you releasing it when you did, and it was a very powerful article
Thank you.
Everything. I think it just like really gave everybody a perspective of what's really going on right now, and. Yeah, it's so tough with like obviously mainstream media, and then you got other types of media out there that it's really a tough time, I think, in the world for everyone. I know for me, just like understanding everything, it's been tough, but I just try to stick to what I know, and like you said earlier, it's really important to have really good reporters like Tara and on your team who are reporting the numbers that are legit and that people need to see.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, it is really hard, and
and I'm really sorry that you guys are getting any flack if you are right now in these times, because you guys are just honestly doing your job, and I know that for a fact. Yeah.
No, it's if journalists wanted to lie about their stories and create things, we'd go into advertising, right? So we're not making millions and billions like newspapers once did. We're here for just an essential job, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, let's talk about your career and kind of how you got into things with the Journal. How did you make it to how did you make it to the Journal?
So, like I said, in I guess it was I can't remember if it was 2009. When I started to redirect my career a bit more to print media. I wanted to, I loved news. I had enjoyed news, but I was tired of doing the marketing and the advertising type videos that I had done for the other clients and stuff. So I wanted to return to news. So in 2000, I guess for 2009 up to there, it was all about like building my skills and going and doing workshops and doing photo essays. This predates the Lambton College photography program, which would have been super helpful if it was around back then. Yeah. But anyway, you just kind of do that. And then there was this new newspaper that opened in 2014 called the Sarnia Journal. And I approached the editor, George Mathewson, and I said, "Hey, I really love news photography. I think I think I've got an eye for it. I would love to see if I could submit some pictures." And they did. They took the pictures from me, and eventually they threw a couple of photo assignments my way. They had already had an established photographer working there, Glenn Ogilvie, who's an absolute monster of photography. Anyone who's looked at the Observer in the last 25, 30 years would see his work in there. He was working for the Journal, so if there was other assignments that he was maybe on vacation for, then they would offer them to me. So I did that for a couple of years. And then in 2016, they wanted to hire a reporter. And at this point I had been built some rapport with them. And I applied for the job. I said, "Hey, I didn't go to journalism school, but I've proven myself as a photographer and I would love a chance." So they gave me a chance, then they took a chance on me. So I've been kind of in that role since then.
Around 2016, you said?
That's 2016 is when I started, yeah.
So I remember we met around this time, I want to say. That was back in, that's an iconic shot right there. For those of you watching, that was back, I want to say November 25th, 2017, if my memory's correct.
Yeah, that was a wild time in Sarnia, that rivalry.
It was such a great time, and you did such a great job at recording it, man. I loved it. It was awesome, and I think that's actually how we met. At that time, I remember you were also doing something else, Boomtown Mag. Whatever happened with that, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, of course. So I attempted to start a kind of a music and culture magazine, Boomtown.
Okay, so it was going to be a magazine.
Well, like an online magazine.
Okay,
I didn't really know. I was all over the place, all over the time, and I quickly got myself overextended, and it was just too difficult to maintain that as well as working at the newspaper. So I stuck it out for a year or so and had some really awesome collaborators and was able to create some really cool content. I was able to shoot with Max Marshall and Corey James Mitchell. That's how I met Corey.
Yeah. We were actually talking about that. I had Corey on my show a couple of days ago, and he was the inspiration to reach out to you and have a conversation. He mentioned your name, and I was like, you know what? Troy's somebody who I'd really like to have a conversation with. And he's like, you need to do that. I think it would be a really good conversation.
I met Corey James while I was doing Boomtown. I met Rodney during that time. He used to play with the Ainsworth brothers. I think are they going to be playing again together?
I'm not sure. I believe so.
And I connected with Puce, who are totally awesome guys. I can't wait for them to put out more music.
You did that really cool. I don't know if you still have it too, because I was trying to find it and I was going to show it on here. You did that really cool video breakdown of what it's like to put a wrestling ring together.
Oh, the time lapse.
Yeah,
remember that? Yeah, they were putting that together in the old station.
Yeah, man, that was incredible. Dude, I don't know if you still have that or you could dig that out.
I do.
Yeah, that would be awesome to see again.
I should upload that. That's it's on an old hard drive, but I know it's around somewhere. That was and it was a great idea.
Little Windex too, right? You came out to that show.
Yeah, I took pictures at Little Windex show. Yeah,
I remember that.
And that's how I met Rory Flores, who's also a videographer in town who is putting out outstanding content.
Yeah, I'm really glad you brought that up because he's been helping my friend out a bit too. My friend Darian, he runs a group called Go Hard. He helped me out with that show, the Little Windex show. But I've been seeing a lot of this. Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of the stuff that Rory's been putting out, and it's really like inspirational to see all these great Sarnia like creators like doing such great things out there, and like there's content YouTubers that I've recently discovered. Like, have you heard of that Aaron Esser kid?
Of course, I've heard of Aaron Esser. He was one of my students at Lambton College.
No way. That's incredible. Yeah. So I just discovered him recently, and I found out he was from Sarnia, and I was absolutely blown. That would be somebody else who I'd love to get on the show if you could make that connection.
I don't know. He's a big deal now. I don't know if he would if I could get a hold of him any better than you could. But
fair enough.
He's absolutely and then going back to Rory Flores, he worked with Cole Rowland, who's a guitarist. That's another guy you should try to talk to on this. Cole Rowland is absolutely gigantic YouTube following, and he does these guitar covers and songs and stuff, electric guitar stuff. And then of course Aaron Esser does the Nerf videos, and Call of Duty videos.
It's just really cool to see all these people from Sarnia doing these great things, and
then there's the Murph Buds. They're putting out content, and Will is the videographer behind that, and his editing is outstanding.
He actually helped me when I won DJ for a day at K106.3 a few years ago. I got to go on their radio for the day and be on the air with Rob Jenkins. He created my video that got me on the air. They picked my video out of a bunch of submissions, and it was Will's video. I think I think Will's video won the contest for me.
Will, I consider Will a very close collaborator with me, and Will is actually working with me on a project I'm doing for the ISO, the International Symphony Orchestra, and we're putting together. There's these two series that we're working on. One is called the ISO Bar Sessions, which basically brings a musician into the ISO Bar. The ISO Bar is the downtown location of the International Symphony Orchestra on Christina Street. One of these musicians comes in and they do a collab with symphony players, so violinists, viola, and cello players, and
Oh, no way.
everything. Yeah, it's we just released well, in the summer we put together our first one, which was with Bill Eldridge, and then the second series that we're working on is called the Nexus Chamber Series, and what that is what we're basically filming the orchestra performing different numbers, and it's absolutely mind-blowing to go in and hear these instruments, and we've shot them in open spaces, obviously distanced because of COVID.
Yeah, of course.
But the sound is just, you feel it in your chest. And Bill Eldridge, who we did the first Isobar session with, he's doing all the sound. And if you know music in Sarnia, you know who Bill Eldridge is. He's a very well-known singer-songwriter. Anyway, he's doing all the sound and all the production. So I'm getting this beautiful soundtrack that I edit the visuals to. And with the Nexus Chamber sessions, there's doing a parallel one. They're producing videos in the States too, in Michigan. And we've got And we've got this incredible videographer filmmaker named Noah Morrison, who is working on it with us. And I'm so excited. They are shooting their first one very soon, and I can't wait to see it. If anybody wants to see these videos that we're working on,
just gonna say, send them through to me, and I'll put them through.
ISO.org, and then go there. You can subscribe, and that's basically what they're doing, because the ISO puts on orchestra performances 5 or 6 a year, spaced out, and they can't do that, and we don't know when they're going to be able to do that. So Anthony Wing and I, we formed a collective of ideas, and are working together to become, basically, this is what the ISO is right now, and continue to have the music playing and continuing to enrich people's lives with music, and this is how they've got to get it out there.
That's awesome, man. I can't wait to see it all. I'll put the link below in the Facebook and on the YouTube channel. And yeah, man, I'm always looking forward to seeing your new projects. Anything you put out, it always catches my eye, and I'm always interested in it. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Do you have any plans for 2021? Like, I guess you were doing a lot of stuff for the Sarnia Sting last year, and I guess that's kind of probably.
Oh yeah, I had some really cool things I did with Sarnia Sting last year. I don't know. We'll see what the year has planned. Hockey is up in the air right now. We don't know what'll happen with that. I don't know. I've kind of realized I like producing projects, but you know what? I really like collaborating, and I like supporting other creators. So I think as I I'm turned 38 in a couple months. In a month, I turn 38.
Don't look a day over 30.
Thank you. I'm kind of looking as like, well, what does it look for me to be a mentor and a supporter of everybody else's productions? Because new ideas are coming out, new creators are coming out all the time, and I just want to help them with what I know, and keep everything vibrant.
That's awesome, man. I'm really looking forward to everything, and I'm grateful for all your support that you've given me throughout the way with Chem Valley Wrestling, or any of the shows, or any of the crazy ideas I've had throughout my lifetime. So I'm really thankful.
I interviewed you about, I think when I wrote about the Chem Valley Wrestling, I interviewed you because you had the sign.
Yeah.
Go to WrestleMania or something like that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'll put that article in here as well. But I'm really thankful for your friendship, man. You're such a good dude. Keep doing all these positive things in Sarnia. I don't want to take in too much more of your time tonight. Plus, Team Canada is playing the U.S. right now in a big gold medal game. So, yeah, we'll end things off there. We'll do this again sometime. Hopefully, we can connect after all this lockdown's done. We're on day 11, so we're almost there. And yeah, man, thanks so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you for the opportunity to chat, and keep it up, Aaron. I can't wait to see who you have next.
Thanks so much, Troy. Have a wonderful night. Take care. All right, so that was Troy Shantz joining me here on the Chem Valley Show for episode number 11, lockdown day number 11. I'll be back again tomorrow. Everyone, just stay positive, be good to each other. Have a great day. enjoy the Team Canada and U.S. game. Let's go Canada.